north of MVP Arena. You see the team was wearing Franz 34 jerseys in the pregame warm-ups. They have saved a seat for him on the bench for the rest of the season with his jersey there as well. Evan Franz was just 18 years old. And a lot of members of his family and his friends from Tamarack High School in Brunswick are here tonight. That's his dad in the green old school Sienna logo jersey there. And they are taking in tonight's game. They were honored on the scoreboard before the game, and they had a moment of silence.
Terrific young man. Coach Massarello talks glowingly about him, and you can see the emotion on the father's face. This program meant so much to Evan Franz. I mean, whenever they spoke about him today at shoot-around, I mean, you could feel the pain with some of these guys. It's tough. Cancer's a terrible disease. And as we continue to move forward, you get to think about some of the people that we've lost, and Evan Franz had an impact.
It was a rough couple of days for Sienna's Michael Bear, who's at the free throw line. His father passed away on Sunday back in Iowa. Michael found out Sunday morning. His dad was 61 years old. He had bladder cancer, did his father. It was a really emotional scene. His dad flew out from Iowa here to Albany back on January 6th to watch Michael play one final time against St. Peter's. Michael's older brother, Nicholas, played at Iowa. And Michael's dad went into the locker room along with his whole family and addressed the team and how proud he was of Michael and how hard the whole team had played. Michael went out that game and had a career high in rebounds. Nelly Jr. Joseph off the mark. Offensive rebound for Iona, but knocked away. Loose ball to Michael Ely.
You know, we came into the game, Iona's defense is really, really good, but it's been Sienna so far, forcing turnovers, tough shots, embracing the physicality. They've been impressive early.
Killian Gribben has checked into the game. He missed the last two games. He is a freshman from Ireland. Ely with 5 on the shot clock, mid-range jumper. Rebounded again by Nelly Jr. Joseph. That is his 5th rebound of the game. All the way to the rim, blocked by Stormo. Loose ball to Tekin. Tekin puts it on the deck. Gets into no man's land. Tries to save it off the back of the backboard and out of bounds to Iona. Tekin a little bit out of control.
So we're 10 minutes into this ball game, and that's Tekin's first time getting out of control. And even so, he was one pass away as Massarello brings him out of the game. He's going to have to explain to the young man, hey, good job, but I need you to slow this pace down. It's being played at the tempo that we would like right now. Continue that.
And it's so tempting, though. It's 3-on-2, it's 2-on-2. You want to go to the rim and attack.
But as a freshman,
how hard is that to kind of holster that urge?
Oh, it's tough, but that's part of your game plan, right? Tekin, he has to understand, you know, you might have gotten away with some of those things in Turkey, but here, when you're playing Iona with all these athletes, you need to pull it out and run some offense. You've been getting what you want. Don't leave that man open.
Platek halfway down and out. Nelly Jr. Joseph was about 40 feet behind the play, ran down the court and got the rebound. He never gave up on the play, ends up getting the board as the turnaround jumper by Clayton is good. He's got 7.
Walter Clayton Jr. That's a pro move, sir. Playing off 2 feet. Spin back away from the defense. Take your time. Knock it through.
Stormo path to the rim. Fadeaway jumper, well short. And the rebound to Clayton. Pushing ahead for Sadiku Ibin Ayo. And out of bounds.
Well done, Robert.
Thank you. Freshman from Ghana in the western part of Africa.
An excellent player. A lot of international flair on the floor today. I mean, guys come from everywhere, and with the international influence, Coach Patino coaching in Greece for a long time, Massarello playing professional in Italy for a long time. A lot of those relationships have done a nice, or a lot of those relationships have brought along some of these players. You see Iona's international players there, Rwanda, Nigeria, Ghana, most of which come from the NBA Academy.
Stormo. Johnson, he's fouled. After you left Clemson, you played overseas for 8 years. It's really become an international game, hasn't it?
Well, the world's a lot smaller now, right? With the internet, you can FaceTime back home. We didn't have all those things whenever I was coming up. It was a little bit of Skype, and it was grainy. Now, kids can get a lot more comfortable coming abroad, coming across the big pond, if you will, and still be communicating with their family. Flights are short. They can get there quick. And Sienna, how about a bank? Let's go ahead. Bank is open.
Late on a Friday night.
How about that? But look at the international mix for Sienna, too. Iceland, Jamaica, Tekken from Turkey. You know, Eduardo Lane, who's already seen minutes so far from Brazil. I mean, it certainly helps. It's a global game now. And whenever you're able to dive into some of these different countries and use your relationships, you can get some players sometimes that don't belong at this level. And I'm going to be honest with you. Nelly Jr. Joseph might not belong at this level. As strong and physical and athletic as he is, he could make an impact at a lot of different conferences, let alone the MAC.
That is now 2 points that Iona has given up due to lane violations. Stormo scored earlier. Now Jace Johnson gets a second opportunity due to a lane violation. Foul.
Oh, my goodness. Danis Jenkins, excuse me, he is so difficult to guard because he's so quick. Whenever a guy comes up to hedge on a ball screen, he pushes it through and he is gone. That quickness is elite. And he can get to that 15-foot mark and knock him down as well. An excellent player for Coach Rick Pitino.
Clayton turns the corner. Down low for Nelly Jr. Joseph. Scored and a foul. Nelly Jr. Joseph, chance for three, will send us to a timeout.
Whoa, Nelly. That is a strong man. He gets a touch in the post. You can forget about it. Get the entry pass, finish over the right shoulder. And there's a lot of contact. That's how physically strong he is. Sienna's up 2.
You see the huge numbers that Nelly Jr. Joseph is putting up this season. He came from Nigeria. You're saying, how did he end up at Iona? Well, you mentioned the NBA Academy in Senegal. So Rick Pitino, when he took the Iona job, asked Gorgie Jang, who was a great player for him at Louisville, do you have anybody from your country who can play for us? He said, I don't, but there's this kid at the NBA Academy in Senegal who ended up being Nelly Jr. Joseph. He's pretty good. You should take a look at him. COVID's going on. There's no visits. There's nothing like that. Junior Joseph ends up on campus, but how did he start playing basketball? Charles Bassey, do you remember him? He was from Nigeria. He went to Western Kentucky. He's now in the NBA with the San Antonio Spurs. Junior Joseph saw how well Charles Bassey did, started taking basketball more seriously, soccer less seriously, went to the NBA Academy, and that's how he ended up at Iona.
Wow. Great story. Charles Bassey was a nice player, too. He was a top 10 kid, decided to go to Western Kentucky, now in the NBA. And Nelly Jr. Joseph, he's got such incredible hands. I mean, some of these passes are not easy. Going away from the guy passing, catching it over your shoulder, and still having the presence of mind to get it up near the rim while you're getting fouled, that's his best attribute, catching, finishing. And it sounds like a small thing. Not a lot of 6'8", 6'9" guys have that ability. He certainly does. But that NBA Academy in Sali, Senegal, has a lot of guys coming over to play college basketball. I did a game College of Charleston recently. Babacar Faye also came from that NBA Academy in Senegal. 2 really good players that are going to have excellent college careers.
He just picked up the second foul on Jackson Stormo. So Stormo has to go to the bench. Eduardo Lane comes in.
Ball handler, and Zach Teckham is standing over, ready to sub into this game. This backup point guard situation is a dire one for Sienna. Danis Jenkins, I mean, the hustle, the quick hands, the activity, stays after the ball. I mean, his relentlessness coming out of Odessa Junior College is remarkable, as you see a picture of McCollum on the bench. They miss him today. They certainly miss him today. Not only his scoring, but his ability to slow the game down.
You see his numbers. He's been dealing with back problems. He left early in their last game against Fairfield with a back injury, never returned. He's out as Iona continues to struggle from the line. 2 out of 5 now from the free throw line for the Gales.
And personally, Rob, I was really disappointed we don't get to see McCollum, because he reminds me of a guy that played at College of Charleston from 6 to 10 named Tony White Jr. Slender of frame, exceedingly quick, and really changes speeds really well. It's too bad, but they need him as the season goes on. Needs to be fully healthy. Eduardo Lane, he'll take that one and one more. Heck of a move. It is electric in here, Rob.
This place is rocking. This is the MAC's biggest stage. By far the most attended games in the league are here at Sienna. Eduardo Lane draws the foul on Keither Florence, a freshman from Kansas, and a chance for Eduardo Lane to complete the three-point play. He averages 2.5 points a game this season. He's got 4.
That was simply Sienna coming off a pick and roll and hitting the Rays guy. And as soon as they did, Lane turns around and seals. And he's able to get deep post position, and that's when he can be effective.
Kick ball, I believe. No, foul. Foul on Eduardo Lane.
Who acknowledged it immediately. And whenever you're playing Nelly Jr. Joseph, your feet better be active or else you're going to get stuck behind. You can forget about it. I mean, he's so strong, so physically, plays with a wide base. You have to disengage and almost play peekaboo defense from side to side, right? And try to eliminate them passing the ball, especially from the top of the key. Why do I say that? Long rotations for help defense on a guy that's so dominant on the interior.
Nelly Jr. Joseph was first-team All-MAC last year. He was the Rookie of the Year as a freshman and preseason first-team All-MAC this season. In fact, he has 10 double-doubles this year, 7 in a row. And he's well on his way to an 8th, for what it's worth, as he's up to 9 points already.
He might have it in the first half.
Yeah, he really might. Bear the rebound off another missed free throw. Tekken back in the game for Sienna. Lane on the court with 2 fouls for Stormo. It's knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with Sienna.
Excellent thought. Michael Eady, good cut, but Zion Cruz, those long arms, man. You look at some of the guys for Iona, the wingspan on Zion Cruz. I mean, his arms are hanging to his knees. I mean, like, he is a long athlete that can get out and defend.
Lane feeling it. Play tech to 3. Blocked. Bear the loose ball to Ely. Rejected athletically at the rim. What a play.
My goodness.
All the way to the rim. Miss and scoring.
The Iona Gales athleticism on full display. That block, Robert, was impressive.
And a foul.
My goodness. Barrick Jean-Louis, look at this block coming over on help side. My goodness, Robert Lee. Now look at them push the pace. This is when they're at their best. Advanced pass and Zion Cruz with a tough finish. He is a lefty, but regardless, that's through contact, that's playing fast, and that's difficult. Cruz Davis. Sorry. Zion Cruz plays for DePaul. I need to get my facts straight.
Had it on cruise control, right?
That's exactly right.
Lane to the rim, missed the layup. Bear tips it up and in.
Who else but Michael Bear doing the little things for the Saints so far today?
8 points for Michael Bear to go along with 4 rebounds. Cruz Davis. Junior Joseph.
It's not his game.
To Lane. Tekken running the floor, 3-on-1. Play check to the rim, lays it in.
Come on, the no-look pass for the freshman from Turkey. Making it happen.
Barrett Jean-Louis lost the ball. He fouls Ely.
The MVP arena is an electric factory. What a pass by the freshman. How about this? No look, the young fella. Little extra sauce. And Playtech, he keeps it simple. Little lefty finish. It was Zach Tekken. Talk to him nicely, young sir. Well done. He's giving them good minutes.
Timeout is called by Iona. We'll take a 30-second timeout with Sienna leading Iona by 3. Auburn and West Virginia tip the day off, followed by number 2, Alabama and Oklahoma. Arkansas, number 17, Baylor. Number 10, Texas against number 4, Tennessee at 6 Eastern, 5 Central. And number 9, Kansas and Kentucky cap off the night from Rupp Arena. all-you-can-eat basketball tomorrow. Big 12 SEC Challenge.
And I am wildly intrigued by the Rick Barnes Bowl. Texas, Tennessee, two excellent defenses. And what a job Rodney Terry has done for Texas in such a difficult situation. And his players, those young men, have done a terrific job all season of staying together and staying competitive. But for Kentucky, too.
Giving up for dead early this year, right?
That's exactly right. And now they're playing well. Severe Wheeler coming off the bench for the Wildcats now. Mixed up the lineups a little bit. Calipari has those guys playing at a high level.
Turnover off the inbound, stolen by Clayton. Danis Jenkins, free throw line jumper is good. First two of the game for Iona's leading scorer, Danis Jenkins.
And this is what you have to avoid for Sienna. Iona scores in bunches because of the pressure. They can steal 6 points on a hurry.
Ely rejected at the rim. Nelly Jr. Joseph turns them away. All the way to the basket, laying it up and in.
My goodness. Massarello's begging to slow this down a little bit. But the athleticism for the Gales, my
6-0
goodness.
run in a blink of an eye.
Was about 20 seconds,
yeah.
And you want them to slow it down if you're Sienna. But this pressure, live ball turnovers are huge. You have to get that ball in, and then Iona's off to the races. And this was a jump shot slash floater. Jenkins can hit that shot, but look at this block. Michael Eady, this is one you might want to pull out. How about that block? And then they're off to the races again. Jean-Louis, I mean, you want to talk about an athlete. This was a guy that is a two-time state champion in the long jump in the state of Florida. And he had an absolute flush in their last game against Manhattan. I think it was a Sports Center top 10. And he is one of those guys that can really turn a game on its head because of his athleticism. But Nelly Jr. Joseph, goodness me, you want to talk about a rim protector.
He is second in the MAC in blocks. In fact, Iona as a team is second in the country in blocks, behind only Utah Valley, over 6 blocks per game for the Gales. Platek off a screen. Fumbled it down the lane. Digs it out. Still 10 on the shot clock. Ely, the left wing three, well off the mark. Rebounded by Iona. Great defense by the Gales. Long pass ahead for Cruz Davis. Jean-Louis buries the three. 5 in a row for Barrick Jean-Louis.
Jean-Louis came to college as a big-time athlete. This season, shooting right at 38% from three. If he can do that, he is a massive contributor for this team.
Lane, left-handed layup, missed it. Rebounded by Clayton. Iona on a 9-0 run. Clayton for three. He got it.
My goodness. Robert Lee, when it rains, it pours. When you play Iona, when it rains, it pours. And they can score quick, fast, and in a hurry. And Clayton already up to double figures. Just such an explosive guy with the ball in his hands.
Iona's made 8 of its last 9 shots on a 12-0 run and a foul. We'll put Platek at the line. The foul on Danis Jenkins. It is his second.
In Iona, they're off and running, and it's not just around the rim. These guys are starting to fill it up from beyond the arc as well. Walter Clayton, or excuse me, Jean-Louis, he hits one first, and then Clayton comes up, comes off the ball screen. You don't back. He'll knock it down. Iona up 7.
Albany, Iona on a 12-0 run, shooting 48% from the field to Sienna's 36%. Junior Joseph off to a quick start, as is Michael Bear. But you feel like the tide turned really when Jackson Stormo went out of the game.
Yeah, and he's going to. Coach Massarello talked about at shoot-around today, we're not going to run plays. We're going to flow right into some of our offense. And the good part about that is if you get it to Jackson Stormo, he's an excellent passer, and he can facilitate some offense from the perimeter for you while also being matched up against opposing 5. So what that does is that expands Iona's defense out, and then you can make some decisions. You can get some buckets around the hole. But you've seen, if Nelly Jr. Joseph's down around the rim, you can forget it. He's a human eraser. Dry erase.
And you've got to think they're going to go right at Stormo with Junior Joseph to try to get that third foul.
You would think he has to be insanely active defensively, moving his feet in the post. You can't let him get deep post position or you can forget it.
2 free throws for Andrew Platek. We're here in Albany, New York, MVP Arena, tail end of the first half. Robert Lee, Terrence Oglesby, our entire terrific ESPN crew with you from New York State Capitol. That breaks a 12-0 Iona run. Platek with 6 points. 3-pointer off the back iron. Platek alone for the rebound.
Nice collective defense by the Saints to slow this tempo a little bit. And Platek understands, hey, my freshman might get a little rattled. I need to help him bring the ball up and set the tone for this offensive possession.
Billups back in the game with 2 fouls as well. They tried to steal it from Stormo. Still 9 on the shot clock. Platek down the lane, off glass and in.
That's an old man move, and that move's going to last a long time. Either when he's playing in the church league with me later on in life, but he uses Iona's athleticism against him and quick jumps that shot in. That's a tough shot, tough 2 from Andrew Platek.
Platek, a Capital Region native from nearby Guilderland, New York, about 10 miles west of MVP Arena. The 3-pointers off the mark, Bear the rebound. Sienna has answered with 4 straight points out of the timeout.
And I like what Jackson Stormo's doing. He's just boxing out completely and letting his teammates get it. He's taking Nelly Junior Joseph out of the play when possible.
Billups up and under, got to roll.
How about that? Grown man move. Mr. Billups. You said he struggled with his jump shot. But he's a big-time athlete. Ooh, Jackson Stormo needs to be careful.
Almost the 3rd foul on Stormo. Instead, it's 11 points for Nelly Junior Joseph. You can't contest that shot with 2 fouls. Billups all the way to the rim, lays it up, and he is fouled by Junior Joseph.
And I like that aggressiveness from Billups. Why? Because he gets the defender on his hip, and he went up to dunk that thing. Nelly Junior Joseph, if you're going up against a big-time athlete, you need to go up aggressive or else he's going to block it. Nice move by Billups.
Billups, a 74% free throw shooter. The first ever NBA Rivals Week is capped off by a triple header tomorrow on ESPN and on ABC and the ESPN app. Nuggets Sixers at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, followed by the Knicks and Nets, with the Lakers and Celtics rounding out the day. It all starts with NBA Countdown, 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 a.m. on the left coast. 4 points for Billups.
Is there a guy more fun to watch than Nikola Jokic? I don't think he can jump over a phone book. And for those young people watching this game, a phone book used to have a bunch of phone numbers in it. They don't have those anymore.
They would drop them off on your front step, believe it or not.
I know, and he can't jump over that. And it was about 4 or 5 inches tall.
This is Anton Brookshire, who's in the game, number 12. Inside for Junior Joseph, and he was just hacked. Held by Eduardo Lane.
Eduardo Lane saying he got hooked. Well, that might be the case, but you can't grab him first. Regardless, that's just another entry pass to Nelly Junior Joseph from the top of the key. And your help is limited at that point. Eduardo Lane, he can battle all he wants to. It's still going to be really difficult.
Second foul on Lane. They'll keep him in the game. They don't want Stormo getting a 3rd foul in the final minute.
But you see the entry pass from the top is completely different from an entry pass on the wing because that backside can come over and help. Completely changes the dynamic of what you can do defensively.
Nelly Junior Joseph. 4 out of 6 from the free throw line, make it 5 out of 7. He is the game's high scorer with 13 points. Entertaining first half here in Albany. Iona by 3. Jace Johnson being hounded. 2 seconds to get it across. Does so with about 1/10 of a second to spare. He's being hounded by Walter Clayton. Tekin, frenzied. Out of bounds to Sienna with 9 on the shot clock. Saints yet to get into their offense.
And for everybody watching, Zach Tekin looks just as small in person as he looks on TV. and the young man is playing with really good leverage despite being so small. and he's not turning the basketball over. By my count, he's made one egregious mistake, and that was pushing the pace a little bit too much. Outside of that, the young man has come in and given good minutes.
He averages 10 minutes a game, does Zek Tekin, and 1.5 points. The freshman from Istanbul. 9 on the shot clock here. Eduardo Lane well outside the arc. Down to 4 to shoot, and they throw it out of bounds.
And that's Eduardo Lane. That's either a quick handoff to your athlete trying to get downhill, or you need to get rid of it and get the ball to play tech, and then you do a pick and roll action on the side. Eduardo Lane, he's an older player. He needs to know that. Get rid of the ball and sprint to screen. Then you can create opportunities for your teammates.
Iona can hold for the last shot, about a 0.8 of a second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. They can virtually hold for the last shot here. 20 seconds left.
So many different guys are capable of creating a play here at the end of the clock. That's what makes this Gales team so dangerous.
Down to 7. Clayton gets the ball screen. Down to 3. Clayton to the basket. Missed the shot. Bear the rebound. Outlet pass. And not enough time to get a shot off. Good first half. Iona by 3.
An exciting first half. Defensively, Sienna really keeping up. But this Iona team, gosh, what an athletic bunch. Nelly Jr. Joseph has been absolutely terrific with his energy. He's on his way to another double-double.
13 points, 7 rebounds for the junior, Nelly Jr. Joseph, and it's Iona leading at 36-33 at the half. Coming up after the break, we'll join the studio with the halftime report.
Taking center stage this weekend. Let's through some of the marquee matchups you'll see, starting with the Keontae Johnson reunion game, Coach.
Well, Keontae Johnson is playing so well. He's built his range. He's so good off 2 dribbles. Tomorrow is going to be big. He's got to not let the emotion of playing his former team distract him from doing the job he has to do and have a great game.
Speaking of playing his former team, our next reunion takes us to the Rick Barnes reunion game.
That will be a fantastic game. I think what Texas is going to see is Tennessee might be the most physical team that they will have faced. They can't get into a situation where they're trying to manufacture offense and ISO. They've got to get movement, and then they've got to find a way to get to the foul line. Because one of Tennessee's weaknesses, they do foul too much.
Yep, game day will be there, and then it'll move to KU and Kentucky all-time blue blood matchup.
I think this is going to be one of the great games of the weekend, obviously not just because of 2 marquee teams, but it's 2 teams that need to find a way to impose their will in the game. And it's really going to start with who can get back in transition and who can control the transition in this game.
Yeah, game day will be in Lexington, but it'll start in Knoxville. Here's Reese Davis and Jay Billis.
College game day on the road for the first time this season on the banks of the Tennessee River. Tennessee and Texas, a game in the SEC Big 12 Challenge. Reese Davis and Jay Billis here. We have college game day in the morning. Top 10 matchup between the Longhorns and the Vols. What are you expecting?
Well, you expect a really physical contest because both teams play no middle physical defense. And Tennessee's defense, especially at home, is spectacular. They put great pressure on the ball. They've got excellent gap coverage. And they do a really good job with Zakai Ziegler and Santiago Vescovi of getting into people. So they make it hard to run offense. And the level of physicality, Texas plays physical basketball, but they're going to have to meet that level in Thompson Bowling Arena. And Texas's guards, Marcus Carr and Tyrese Hunter, can really score. And that's got to be the key, I think, for Tennessee's defense, is to try to hold those 2 in check, because each one of them go for 25 in a particular game. You favor Tennessee in the game. That's a really good team that Rick Barnes has, but sometimes they go into offensive droughts, and you play against a defense like Texas, so they can cause a drought.
And of course, Rick Barnes had a great run at Texas. Second time he's faced the Longhorns since he's been the head coach at Tennessee. Nightcap game, we're going to hop aboard the College Game Day bus, go up I-75 to Lexington for Kansas and Kentucky. Kansas has lost 3 in a row, and Bill Self's entire career at Kansas, he's never lost 4 in a row.
Well, Kansas has played a really tough schedule. I don't think anybody in America has played a harder schedule game to game, and this is just another brutal game in their difficult schedule, stepping outside the Big 12. But even though they lost 3 in a row, they've still got the bones of a top 10, top 5 team. You know, Jalen Wilson's averaging 21 points, 9 rebounds a game. He's played at a player of the year level. But Kansas needs more out of guys like DeJuan Harris, who has had 3 games where he hasn't played to the level that he's become accustomed. He's second in the Big 12 in assists and an outstanding point guard with a 3-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio, and they've got to get more out of their bench. and they're playing against a Kentucky team that is hot right now. Kentucky was desperate a few weeks ago when they came, and then they came to Tennessee and beat the Vols here in Knoxville, and they've been on an upswing ever since. And I think played their best half of the year in the second half against Georgia. And Oscar Tshiebwe is playing like the National Player of the Year that he was last year, and they're getting great performances out of Antonio Reeves. And Cason Wallace has taken over as the starting point guard, and he's doing a terrific job. You have to keep them off the offensive glass, though, and keep them out of transition. That is one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country, led by Tshiebwe, who's averaging close to 6 offensive rebounds a game. So it's going to be a fight.
Those two games highlight the SEC Big 12 Challenge College Game Day at 11 a.m. Eastern from Knoxville. Should I take it personally that you invited me down here to do 94 feet with you, and this dock is decidedly not 94 feet long?
I have better subjects for 94 feet usually.
Reese thought he was going to walk the plank there for a second. One other thing Reese said, all right, so Kansas has lost 3 in a row. He said they've never lost 4 in a row under Self. Honestly, they could have lost their last 5 if you go back and look at the recent stretch for KU. On the other side, Kentucky coming off a win over Texas A&M, but you're concerned about their defense.
Well, yeah, and in line with what you just said, when you look at the Big 12 and the SEC, you could say that about a lot of teams right now. These games are so close. But Kentucky right now defensively, they've got to be consistent in this game. The one weakness that they have, there's a few, but the one that they have is when it comes to Jacob Toppin and Oscar Tshiebwe guarding the dribble. And you see right there with Jacob Toppin guarding the post, Sahvir Wheeler gets caught in the lane in a transition situation because the big guys don't get back. There's another situation where the pick and roll exposes them. Tshiebwe opens up. They're giving way too much ground up defensively, especially at the 4-5 position.
No question. And Kentucky's defense is struggling, and DeJuan Harris for Kansas struggling as of late.
Well, he's got to pick it up, and he's fully capable. We're in here a couple of weeks ago, and he's 10 of 14 from the three-point line, Zubin. I mean, this guy is a fantastic guard, and what's happening is you've got more teams that are playing him to score because they know he's such a good passer. And a few weeks back, he was so aggressive with his scoring. He was getting to the rim. He's got to put the ball on the floor, get to the basket, be aggressive, and let it rip.
Let it rip. Reese mentioned the 2 games that are highlighting the SEC Big 12 Challenge. Here's some of the others to keep in mind, including red-hot Iowa State paying a visit to Coach Gates. Second half's on the way.
Sunday at 3 Eastern on ESPN and the app. It's a top 20 women's basketball matchup as Olivia Miles and number 7 Notre Dame take on Diamond Johnson and number 20 NC State. We've got second half action coming up when we return to Albany. Young and old enjoying the action. We're set to start the second half with Iona up by 3. We're back here in New York's capital region, Albany, New York. Robert Lee and former Clemson Tiger Terrence Oglesby with you. Terrence, double-figure score in the ACC for 2 years, 40% from downtown career. Terrence, exciting first half. 2 players for Iona dominated the scoring while Sienna had more of a balanced attack.
That's exactly right. And Sienna's trying to slow down this tempo, and they're doing a nice job for the most part competing defensively, slowing it down on offense. But for Iona, it's been all Nelly Jr. Joseph, and it's not just on the offensive end. He has been a human eraser defensively, but working in the post, he's such a physical specimen. But for Sienna, it's been a balanced attack. Michael Bear is not a big scorer, but he does all the little things for you. He started off, got the Saints going early, and Playtech towards the end of the half, exerting his will with the old grandpa shot. Didn't jump over anything right there, but unorthodox finishes, a lot of different ways to get buckets in this world. Andrew Playtech shows you the unorthodox ones.
Nelly Jr. Joseph looked like he was trying to diagnose what was going on there. He's ready to go. He had a huge first half, 13 points, 7 rebounds. Bear and Playtech with 8 points each to lead Sienna. Clayton also had 10 for Iona. He's got the ball to start the second half. Iona in the road gray. Clayton step back 3. Rebounded by Billups. Saints in the home goal.
I'm not sure that's the shot you want to open the half. You close on a high note, making big-time runs to finish off, and then you come back with a step-back 3 on possession 1. Not sure that's what you want if you're Coach Rick Pitino.
They'll feed it inside for Stormo. He's on the left baseline. Stormo quiet in that first half, has 2 fouls, extra pass, Playtech a 3 to tie the game. He got it.
Come on, man. He gets a catch and shoot. You can forget it. He's done it for almost 7 years at the college level.
You
Not
said
a
he's
whole
older
lot-
than you.
That's right. He's older than me. He's got better hair than me, though. That's for sure.
To the basket, Jean-Louis lays it up and in.
Jean-Louis is a nice player. I mean, an incredible athlete. Zach Tekken finally showing a little kink in the armor. This pressure, though, is relentless for Iona.
Carmen Massarello can't believe there was no foul called there on Jean-Louis. It is a Sienna turnover.
And it's a 40-minute event when playing Iona. And when Sienna was playing well for the first 14 to 16 minutes of this game, you feel good about yourself. Then they go on a 10-0 run because it's a cumulative effect whenever you play against pressure that much. Danis Jenkins got to get going a little bit. Billups has done a nice job defensively on him. He hasn't scored much. He's averaging over 16 points a game, only 2 in the first half.
Junior Joseph, tough shot. Billups swoops in for the rebound. Defended well by Stormo, who has 2 fouls. Platek, another 3.
Forget it.
Count it. You called it halfway home. He knocks it down. He's got 14.
It gets the people going. Andrew Platek, 14 so far.
And an Iona timeout.
Hitting some big ones. Looking at the crowd. An effort to open up the half for Sienna. How about this? A little ball movement in a semi-break. Andrew Platek, he's the beneficiary. You move that ball quick and Sienna can score. Andrew Platek coming off, setting his feet. He lets it fly and he gives them the lead.
He averages 16 a game. Sienna's made 7 shots in a row now.
Watch out.
Jean-Louis rejected by Wayne, and it's a foul.
They called a foul on that one.
Yes. Somebody was going to end up on a poster one way or the other there.
We're going to have to take another look at this one because there looked like a whole lot of ball. Jean-Louis goes, oh, okay, well, Eduardo Lane, you have to maintain your verticality. He's jumping forward. There is a lot of ball, but it's not called at the peak of their jump. It's called at the body. Good aggressive take by Barry Jean-Louis.
He's saying, I don't want to be on SportsCenter top 10, right?
I mean, sometimes you're going to have to go ahead and take that one. And here's a curious part, too. You know that Sienna's going to roll with Jackson Stormo now that Lane has 4 fouls. He's not coming out of the basketball game. You're stealing minutes right now. And Lane understands his role. I'm going to get in there. I'm going to be physical. And Zach Tekken gets a well-deserved break right before the media as well.
1 out of 2 for Jean-Louis.
Outside of about a 2.5-minute stretch in the first half, Sienna has been masterful at breaking Iona's pressure.
There was that 12-0 run that Iona had to take command. Sienna clawed back into it, down by 3 at the half. Bear from way downtown, hit the backboard first. Did hit the rim, however, and resets the shot clock.
And that's a killer if you're Iona. You guard for the entirety of the clock, and you're not able to close out a possession. And you basically have to play defense for 50 seconds. Rob, I didn't want to play defense for 6 seconds.
4 on the shot clock. Bear feeling it.
Come on, man.
Career high 16 for Michael Bear.
How in the world was that young man a walk-on?
He was a team manager as a freshman.
That is an unbelievable story, just all the way around. Nice cut.
And a foul on Ely will send us to a timeout. Just over 11 minutes to go at Rocking MVP Arena in Albany. Sienna by 16.
Fours, well, the precipitation's been on the other end. Sienna has been awesome, knocking down shots from the perimeter, sharing the basketball, functioning in the half court. 10 of 14 here in the second half, and only 1 turnover against that pressure, Robert. This Sienna team is playing about as good as they can, despite missing their leading scorer for the season. That young man right there, Michael Bear, has been some kind of special in a game where he has needed to produce. 6 of 8 from the floor today and 3 of 5 from 3. 16 points for the young man.
I know you live down south, but up here they call that a blizzard.
It is cold. Hey, and look, I'm used to the cold. I played 2 seasons in the Arctic Circle. It's still cold.
What if I told you this is relatively warm for Albany? It was about 40 degrees today. Jenkins fouled by Stormo. or was it on Billups? It's on Stormo. Nickel dimer for his third. No need to have that foul there.
No, you don't. And Jenkins is going away from the basket. That's a big thing. You want to get out and you want to push him away. You did your job. Get back away from the hedge and you'll be fine.
Who has not been heard from this half is Nelly Jr. Joseph, who's not in the game right now. He is still 13 points and 7 rebounds. Down low for Silas Sunday, guarded by Stormo. Sunday, the nice finish.
That was an excellent job. Silas Sunday using his big frame just to finagle his way. Got his shoulders on top of Stormo's, and then it's a nice little easy jump hook using his size.
That was Sienna's biggest lead of the game, 16 points. Iona trying to start the long road back, nearing the midway point of the second half. Billups is fouled by Jenkins. That'll be his third.
Referee's calling it really tight on the perimeter. I'm not sure I love that foul call. You're letting a lot go inside, but Jenkins might have been a little too handsy out on the perimeter. I expect Jenkins to be a little bit more aggressive, you know, to end the second half. And he needs to be for Iona to get back in this ballgame.
Has 2 points for head coach Rick Pitino, the Hall of Famer, in his third season at Iona. Stormo down the lane. Draws the foul.
I'm going to be honest, I thought that was good defense by Silas Sunday, but however, when Stormo spins back baseline, you have to take that contact with your chest. You can't turn. He had good position. He knew Stormo was coming back right. You just can't turn your body. Watch number 33. You turn, he doesn't, he leaves his feet, turns his body. You put yourself in a vulnerable position for a foul.
Stormo, preseason second-team All-MAC into double figures.
He's a nice player, Rob. I mean,
steady.
Yeah, steady. And when you have somebody like Stormo at the top of the key making decision for you, who can also get inside and score, tremendous advantage.
Sienna once again matches its biggest lead of the game, 16 points.
I like this. Sienna in a little bit of a 2-3 zone just to mix up what Iona's trying to do offensively.
Shima across the post, back to Shima. He traveled. I know you really like Osborne Shima as a prospect.
I
Even
really
at the
do.
next level, he's a guy who doesn't look like he belongs in the league. Has been neutralized tonight.
He certainly has. He's a 7-foot, quick trigger, three-point shooter. And he does some things on the floor that make your jaw drop because he can step out, he can shoot the basketball. He runs the floor with incredible fluidity, and he can pick up and guard. He has a lot of next level potential. Now, will it happen soon? No, but the tools are certainly there. Nice cut.
Ely's right elbow jumper. Stormo swoops in for the rebound. One dribble, lays it up and in.
My goodness. We talked about Stormo before the game. He does it on the ground with patience, with ball fakes, and what a finish.
Iona has only one timeout left. This is now Sienna's biggest lead of the game. Nelly Jr. Joseph not even on the court. He's getting ready to check in. Jenkins flips it up, rebounded by Bear.
Jenkins has been all out of sorts. That little floater is usually his go-to. Oh, that's something that can't happen.
Turnover. The other way, it's Jenkins, and he'll lay it in.
And here's the problem with that. That's Jenkins scoring. That might get him in a rhythm. You just have to see it go in the rim once. So
he's now 2 out of 7 from the field for 4 points.
That's right. But now that he got one to fall, look for him to try to take a step for Iona because they need him in order to get back in this ball game. Down 16.
8.5 to go. Here comes Nelly Jr. Joseph, who has been a non-factor after he was the biggest factor for Iona in the first half.
Yeah, but I'm not sure that that's on him. He hasn't played much.
Yeah, he hasn't played a whole lot. You're right.
I mean, that's the big thing with Nelly Jr. Joseph. He was aggressive early in the half, but they need him to be that rim protector. But most of the things that Sienna's getting in offense have been on the perimeter. That's nullified what he does defensively. And Sienna, because they're knocking down shots, he hasn't had as big of a factor. Hasn't been as big of a factor.
He's only played 6 minutes in the second half. This game for first place in the league. Sienna comes in first at 7-2, and Iona in second place at 6-2. Sunday at 3 Eastern on ESPN and the app. It's a top 20 women's basketball matchup as Olivia Miles and number 7 Notre Dame take on Diamond Johnson and number 20 NC State. 3 o'clock Sunday, ESPN and the app. We mentioned they're playing for first place here tonight. They are big rivals. Iona has been the most successful team in league history by far. They have 13 MAC championships since the league was formed back in the early 80s. Sienna with 5 official championships, 1 in the COVID year that they were crowned because they were the highest seed remaining. And as the MAC leader right now, Joe Lunardi has Sienna as a number 15 seed, and you see what's at stake here tonight. Sienna trying to extend its lead in first place.
I think the biggest thing you take away from those standings is, man, it's hard to win at the Division I level. You talk to so many different coaches around the country. It's hard to get these wins, no matter the conference, when you play on the road. And then it can snowball in a hurry, as it has today for Sienna. And Iona needs to find ways to facilitate some offense, because when that ball's moving, they can attack some closeouts and use their athleticism. But at the same time, Sienna has just communicated at such a high level defensively. Every time that Iona gets in the paint, they swarm to the basketball. And it has been a defensive clinic, at least in the half court, for Sienna.
Probably gotten used to seeing Iona University in your bracket pool. They're located in New Rochelle, New York, Westchester County, about 20 miles northeast of Times Square. Stormo, another 3. 0 for 3 from beyond the arc now. Rebounded by Nelly Jr. Joseph. Here come the Gales in transition. 3-pointer is up off the back iron and rebounded by Ely. Tekken guarded by Jr. Joseph.
And there's a part of Tekken right there that saw the mismatch. It's like he thought about it.
The Turkish freshman thought better of it, perhaps. Now it's the big man battling down low, and a foul. That will send us to a timeout. 16-point lead Sienna with just under 8 minutes left to go in Albany. Remember, Rick Pitino coached Kentucky to a national title way back in the day in the 90s. In his 3rd season at Iona, a living legend. 7 Final Fours, couple national titles, 1 each at Kentucky and Louisville. He's in the Hall of Fame. How about this fact? 6th coach in Division I history to win a game in 6 separate decades.
I will say this.
That's longevity and excellence.
Hey, Robert, I'll say this. You're bringing the heat today. You're bringing the heat.
He said he was a part in you getting recruited.
He absolutely was. And that's the thing. A lot of people have a lot to say about Rick Pitino, but one thing they can't take away from me, when I was a rising junior in high school, I went to Rick Pitino's camp. And after that camp, he comes up, he said, "Are you being recruited by anybody?" And I said, "It's been very sporadic." He's like, "Why aren't you going to Adidas camp next week?" He makes one phone call. I end up in Adidas camp. I play well in that camp alongside Thaddeus Young, who's still in the NBA, Derek Jasper, who signed at Kentucky. And I leave that camp with 10 scholarship offers. And I don't get to that camp without that man right there, Rick Pitino. So I am indebted to him. And I have a lot of respect for him, even though he didn't let us come to shoot around this morning.
Ely with the rebound. You know, people talk about 20 wins. Rick Pitino's won 25 or more 18 times. Is that good?
I mean, that's decent. That's decent. There's a lot of people who love to trade places with him, that's for sure. I mean, he's one of the best to ever do it.
Phillips knocks down the jumper.
How calm was Phillips when he came off of that one dribble pull-up? You have Shima, who stands all of 7 foot contesting. I actually thought he blocked it, but well, Jenkins has been aggressive.
Forcing the shot there. It's out of bounds to Sienna.
Look at Zektek. His defensive ability has been really, really good on Jenkins, who is supremely quick. Tekken just keeps his chest on. And it's not a big chest. but he has been quick with his feet, staying in front.
Stormo running the floor. Sienna will set it up with 20 on the shot clock and 6:45 to go. All Sienna in the second half. A 17-0 run early in the second half opened up the score here. As Billups drives down the lane, floats in traffic, and rebounded by Nelly Jr. Joseph. Here comes Clayton. He's fouled in the open court.
I love that. That's the Euro foul right there. You're stopping the break. You're making Iona play in the half court. And a lot of people hate that people do that. But that's a headsy play by the young player. That foul right there is much more common in Europe than it is here in the United States. But at the same time, he stops the break. Now they can set their defense and make Iona have to play an offensive possession with 5 guys in front of them.
Playtech in for Ely. Brookshire checks in for Jenkins for Iona. Brookshire will hoist the 3 and knock it down. Anton Brookshire, his first 3 of the game.
Missouri transfer, played at Kickapoo High School in Missouri alongside Arkansas forward Trayvon Brazil. You want to talk about a good public high school team? 2 guys that could really fill it up. Brazil has turned into a legitimate NBA prospect for the Razorbacks before at least suffering an injury. Another long possession, Robert.
Everyone touching it here. 6 on the shot clock. Playtech guarded by the bigger Junior Joseph. Stormo fadeaway jumper is pure.
Come on. And that's Andrew Playtech being a veteran player and understanding where the help was going to come from. Finds Stormo on a small pop out, and he's able to knock it through.
Clayton has not scored in the second half. Trying to get on the board here, hits the side of the backboard, defended by Michael Bear.
Now,
10 rebounds for Bear, first career double-double.
Now, Billups, smart move. I was going to say he needs to be patient right here. You're getting whatever you want in the half court. Let your guys get down there, and you get another mid-range jumper from Stormo, who has hit them with consistency as long as he's inside the arc.
They call that being in your bag. 17 for Stormo.
He's got a nice bag. It's got to be a Gucci bag at this point.
Largest lead of the game for Sienna, pulling away here in the second half. Iona has 12 points in the second half. And a foul on Stormo to be his 4th. That's really the only bad news for Stormo right now.
Stormo needs to calm down, take that foul, and now you're 4 minutes in. I wonder if Coach Masiello is going to take him out, and he sure is. But Stormo, that mid-range jump shot right there has been buckets for the young man. 15 feet and in, he's been deadly. But just a wily veteran who does a lot of the right things. Really strong on the floor, has communicated well, and been a little bit of a settle-down guy in the half court. Him alongside Michael Bear, those 2 guys have done a nice job against this pressure of being outlets in the front court.
Stormo, until that free throw, had actually matched Iona's entire point total for the half, each with 12. Iona up to 13 points now this half. That was Junior Joseph's first points of the second half. Time is on Sienna's side here with 4.5 minutes to go and a 17-point lead. Foul on Clayton. It'll be his 4th. And it will put Sienna at the free throw line.
And I actually thought that was solid defense. Clayton beat him to the spot. And Billups, he has a tendency to push that ball out a little bit too far. It leaves him vulnerable for some turnovers.
1-1 here for Jared Billups, who is the cousin of longtime NBA All-Star and NBA champion Chauncey Billups, and currently the head coach of the Portland Trailblazers.
And he's their leading rebounder, too. And sometimes when you come from a basketball family like Billups, you realize that, hey, I can make an impact for my team without... Oh, wow, that's a lot of contact. How about Eduardo Lane taking the charge?
Nelly Jr. Joseph, 6'9", 240. That was some bravery from Lane.
I mean, yeah. It didn't look comfortable, I can assure you. But getting over in front, Nelly Jr. Joseph trying to be a little bit more aggressive. They're backing on. Sometimes that just gives you a head start, but Eduardo Lane takes it to the chest. Nice move. Junior Joseph, after a splendid first half, really struggled to get going here in the second. But back to Billups, who has the ball now. He's a guy that, because he's from a basketball family, you understand that you can make a big-time impact on your team without scoring the basketball. And he's not a guy who shot the ball tremendously well. But I'll say this, Sienna is moving the basketball, and they're cutting with purpose.
Jean-Louis is fouled. Michael Bear has a career-high 18 points. He also has 10 rebounds. His first career double-double. Sienna up 20 on Iona with under 4 to go. The presentation of college basketball is brought to you by the 2023 Hercules Tires MAC Basketball Championships. For tickets, visit boardwalkhall.com. Iona has dominated the MAC in recent years. 5 tournament titles since 2016, several of them here at what was then the Times Union Center. Iona, 13 MAC titles all time, and tonight may not be going their way, but you've certainly got to feel like they're still going to be one of the top contenders when the tournament goes back to Atlantic City.
And you'll notice that 2020 year is moving, and that officially went to Sienna, but Iona for so long has had a grip on this conference. Now, they still have the talent to do it once again this season, but you're getting a preview of 2 teams. Iona struggled, but at the same time, Sienna's played about as well as they have all year.
And you saw that team at the top in 2022.
Exactly.
St. Peter's. Yes, that was the team. St. Peter's is part of the MAC that went all the way to the Elite Eight, beat Kentucky and Purdue along the way.
Man, they were awesome, weren't they?
That was Cinderella story of all time.
Shaheen Holloway. I mean, to beat Purdue and to be able to pick them apart with a bunch of tough kids in the MAC conference. I mean, this is a league that could be your Cinderella, at least for an upset in the NCAA tournament. They are that kind of team. Sienna has multiple weapons at different points. Iona has the athleticism to compete with anybody in the country. This league could have somebody go and win a game or 2 in the NCAA tournament.
And these will certainly be 2 of the top contenders when the tournament is played in Atlantic City. Certainly looks like Sienna's going to win here tonight and move to 8-2 in league play. Iona should fall to 6-3 in a tie for second place, but Iona certainly will be very dangerous down the stretch. These 2 teams play again towards the end of the season on Sunday, February the 26th, down in New Rochelle. We're here at MVP Arena in Albany, New York. Robert Lee, Terrence Oglesby, our entire ESPN crew with you from New York State Capitol. 1 out of 2 for Jean-Louis. Under 4 minutes to go. Sienna has controlled the second half, trailed by 3 at halftime, went on a 17-0 run to break the game open early in the second half. To the delight of over 7,800 Sienna fans as Ely missed the 3. It's rebounded by Shima. Here's Clayton. He'll hoist up a 3. Wow. Way off the mark. Bear another rebound.
Wow, they are out of sorts. I mean, offensively trying to create, and then they end up just dribbling back out and hoisting one that doesn't draw any iron.
12 rebounds now for Bear.
But this is a Sienna team. This is a motion-based team. That's why it's so difficult to guard. Go ahead and give Bear another one. Why not?
He's already got a career-high 18. Stormo the steal.
Wow. Sienna has ridden this crowd to an absolutely dominating performance. The Saints are showing why they're at the top of this conference.
Sienna will call a timeout. We mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Iona is the highest scoring team in the MAC, 76 points a game. They have 51 with just under 3 minutes to go.
Coach Masiello told us, I want this game in the mid-60s to low 70s. Well, his defense today has been outstanding, especially here in the second half. 15 points, limiting Iona's transition. Gang rebounding, finishing possessions. Iona has just been out of sorts.
And they've shot only 26% in the second half after 45% in the first half. What's been the difference?
Sienna's just collapsed on the ball, and when Iona's gotten in the paint, they haven't sprayed out and been ready to shoot immediately. And on top of that, Sienna has completely taken out their ability to get out and run in transition. A lot of people say, hey, that's us getting back and communicating. No, that also has to do with how Sienna is playing on offense. Because whenever they're using 25 seconds on every possession, it makes it really difficult to get out and run. It's almost like when you play a team that likes to run the football. I know you're a Bengals guy, correct?
Yes, I am.
You're a Bengals guy. Whenever you play a running football team, it's hard to make those explosive plays with consistency, right? That's how Sienna has approached this basketball game, and they've ran up and down the field.
And like when a team runs the ball at you repeatedly, it's so demoralizing when your defense, as Stormo, is fouled out of the game with 2:17 to go. Similarly, when a team holds the ball for 23 seconds and then scores, it's demoralizing for your defense.
And not only that, there's been a couple of offensive rebounds. Sienna has 8 offensive rebounds, so not only it's Stormo, he's getting a standing ovation, and buddy, does he deserve it.
17 points for Stormo.
He has been really, really good. And you have to do your early work when playing against an Iona team like this. You can't let up, especially off the ball. And he put on a clinic as far as that's concerned.
Killian Gribben has checked in for Stormo. Both Stormo and Lane have fouled out of the game. Sienna up comfortably here with 2 minutes to go. Playtech's had a huge night with 18. Bayer with a career high 18. Stormo has 17. Billups into the lane. Fadeaway jumper blocked. Wow. Athletic play by Jean-Louis.
Unbelievable athlete is Jean-Louis.
Bruce Davis. And rebounded by Playtech.
So here's the thing. You shoot in the first 4 seconds. Now you got to come back and guard 30 seconds. That's why it's so difficult to play against what Sienna's doing. And I know there's probably a lot of MVPs. Playtech certainly qualifies. Stormo certainly qualifies. Zach Tekken has been really good today.
Layup is good for Iona.
And we're getting a couple of garbage points.
Yeah, which is Jean-Louis. But you said, before we even went on the air tonight, you said Michael Baer would be the key.
And he's been
awesome. He's played the best game of his career here tonight.
And this is why right here, you pass it back to him and he can break your press for you, and he never gets rattled.
Playtech to 3, exclamation point is short. And it's out of bounds. No, saved back in by Iona with 50 seconds left. Final possessions of the game here in the final minute. Jean-Louis. Rebounded by Billups. 40 seconds left. Crowd of 7,801 rising to their feet as Sienna will finish off a dominating victory. They will hold Iona to their season low in points, 53 right now with 20 seconds to go.
They are getting a standing ovation as Playtech gets the people going. They deserve it, Robert. With this performance today, they have let the people know in the MAC, the other teams in the MAC understand that they are here to win this conference.
Iona will hold the ball as the final seconds come off the clock. Coach Massarello and Patino shake hands. Final score, Sienna 70, Iona 53.
Excellent job, Sienna. Defensive clinic.